You weren't born in a cabbage patch. You were born on a reed mat in Tenochtitlan. The year is 1500. The midwife doesn't slap you. She lets out a piercing war cry. Your destiny is to feed the sun. Your umbilical cord isn't discarded. It's dried and buried on the battlefield. It's your first GPS beacon, marking the exact spot where you are fated to die. You are named after your birth date. 2 rabbits. Sound cute? It isn't. It means you'll end up a drunkard, unless you become a hero. Upbringing is brutal. If you misbehave, your father holds you over a fire of roasting chili peppers. It's domestic tear gas, designed to sting the defiance out of you. The breakfast of champions. A corn tortilla and algae skimmed from the lake. To cute little. Algae cheese. It looks like mud. It tastes like mud. Your primary weapon is the macua weedle. It's not a sword. It's a club inset with blades of volcanic glass. Infographic. Weight, 2 kilograms. Sharpness, molecular. Obsidian is sharper than a surgical scalpel. It slices through flesh to the bone with a mere graze. The downside? It's brittle. Strike a stone, and the weapon is shattered. How powerful is it? Spanish chroniclers would later write, "One blow decapitated a horse." You are carrying a portable guillotine. Your armor is Ichkahuapili, a quilted cotton vest soaked in salt water. Infographic, lightweight and arrow-resistant, but wearing it is like sitting in a sauna. Your shield is the chamali, made of bamboo, leather, and feathers. It's beautiful, but it protects against a steel blade about as well as a sheet of paper stops a bullet. It's mostly for show. For range, you have the atlotl, a spear thrower. This lever triples your throwing force. A dart can pierce Spanish plate armor from 100 paces. This is your sniper rifle. Your rank is worn on your head. You shave your temples, leaving a stiff crest on the crown, the warrior's cut. There are no barber shops. You're shaved dry with obsidian. The golden rule, do not kill. An enemy corpse is worthless. You must stun him, bind him, and drag him home. You are a bounty hunter, not a butcher. Career infographic. 1 captive makes you a soldier. 2 captives make you an officer. For captives, and you become a jaguar. This is your ladder to success. The jaguar suit isn't some kigurumi onesie. It's the actual pelt of a predator. You peer at the world through the jaguar's gaping maw. You become the beast. Cackly sandals. Only the nobility may wear shoes. If a commoner wears sandals in the palace, he is executed. Your heels are your passport. Fancy a drink of pulque? If you're under 50 and get caught drunk, you'll be stoned to death. Prohibition is absolute. Only the elderly are allowed to drink. Paradoxically, you are cleaner than any European. You bathe every day. You have Temazcal saunas, charcoal tooth powder, and deodorants. Europe reeks, but you smell like flowers. Your city, Tenochtitlan, is Venice on steroids. 200,000 inhabitants. Floating gardens and pyramids that touch the sky. The cleanest and bloodiest city on earth. The flower wars. These aren't wars for land, but tournaments. You arrange a fight with your neighbors just to capture prisoners for sacrifice. A lethal game of football. You are a warrior, not a pack mule. Your gear is carried by a tlamim, a professional porter. He hauls 30 kilograms balanced on his forehead by a strap. His neck is wider than your head. The enemy, Tlaxcala. They are just like you. Same language, same gods, same weapons. You hate them like neighbors who start drilling walls at 7 a.m. The death whistle. A clay skull that screams with the sound of 1,000 damned souls. It's a psychological strike. It turns the enemy's blood to ice and pumps your veins with adrenaline. The battle begins not with a charge, but a shove. Shield against shield. The stench of sweat, garlic, and fear. If you fall, you are trampled. Soon, the lines break into duels. One-on-one. It's a dance. You must flank the side without the shield. One missed parry, and you lose a leg. Your blow hits the enemy's shield. Crack. The obsidian shatters, shards flying into your eyes. Your weapon is disposable, like a plastic fork. There's no time to swap clubs. You snatch spare blades from a pouch and slot them into the grooves mid-fight. Neolithic-style reloading. You strike the enemy behind the knees, not with the edge, but with the flat of the blade. Crunch. He goes down. Remember, don't kill. A dead enemy is a wasted resource. You grab him by the hair and recite the ritual. Here is my beloved son. He replies, here is my venerable father. Now, you are kin through death. The battle ends. You lead 2 prisoners home. They don't resist. Their fate is to be envoys to the gods, and they see it as an honor. Well, almost. You return to the Tlatelolco market, the world's largest bazaar. 60,000 people. You can buy anything from jade to slaves. Gold. To you, it's just a shiny metal for baubles. Real money is cacao beans. Money literally grows on trees. Chocolate is cold hard cash. Price infographic. 1 bean equals 1 tomato. 30 beans equals 1 rabbit. 100 beans equals 1 slave. You're rich until you decide to brew a cup of cocoa. You literally drink your salary. Watch out for counterfeits. Empty bean shells stuffed with clay. You try to pay, and the coin crumbles into dust. Pure shame. You're hungry, so you head to the meat stalls. They sell zoloid squintly here, hairless dogs. Cute pets? No. A delicious stew. Woof woof. Yum yum. Corn is everything. It makes your tortillas, your porridge, and your beer. You even mold your gods out of corn dough. Biologically, you are 90% maize. Market judges settle disputes instantly. Laws aren't written, they're painted. The judge reads the comic strip and passes sentence. Theft in the market is a capital offense. Passers-by beat the thief to death with clubs on the spot. No prisons. You steal corn, you become fertilizer. The slave row. No chains here, just wooden collars with long poles trailing behind to stop them from vanishing into the crowd. You trade 1 prisoner for a fine cloak. You pass the tsampantli, the skull rack. Thousands of heads skewered on poles like a macabre shish kebab. Your second captive will be joining them soon. This is the city's pride. Your home is a masterclass in minimalism. No furniture. You sleep on a petate mat. No chairs, everyone squats. God-level asceticism. A wedding means no rings. You simply tie your cloak and her blouse into a knot. You are now literally bound. Divorce is only possible through the courts. As a Jaguar Warrior, you are the elite. You are permitted multiple wives. You have 3. But there's a catch. You now have 3 mothers-in-law. One night, the sky ignites. A comet, a smoking star. The priests panic. Emperor Moctezuma weeps. It's the end of the world. Fishermen catch a crane with a mirror embedded in its skull. Moctezuma looks into it and sees bearded men riding deer. Terror. News from the coast arrives at lightning speed. It's not one runner, it's a relay. Hundreds of men, swapping every 5 kilometers. This living telegraph brings the grim report. Who are they? Pale skin, bearded faces, iron clothes. You wonder if the gods have returned, if Quetzalcoatl has come home. Mistake. Moctezuma sends them gold, hoping they'll leave. Fool. Give a robber your wallet, and he won't walk away. He'll want to see inside your house. You see a horse for the first time. To you, it's a gargantuan deer without horns. Rider and beast seem fused, a centaur. Panic. Your dogs are hairless and sweet. The Spaniards bring armored mastiffs. These are war dogs trained to disembowel men. They aren't animals, they're demons. The cannon, a flash of light, the stench of sulfur like the underworld, and a nearby tree shatters into splinters. Thunder magic. The harquebus, an iron stick that spits lead. It's clumsy and slow, but it punches through your cotton armor like it's nothing. Toledo steel. Their blades don't snap. Your obsidian disintegrates against their breastplates. It's like fighting a tank with a glass bottle. It's not a fair fight. Cortez possesses a weapon deadlier than any cannon, La Malinche. A woman translator who betrayed her people and whispered all your secrets to the Spanish. Your ancient rivals, the Tlaxcalans, join Cortez. Now, it isn't 500 Spaniards. It's 500 Spaniards backed by 20,000 vengeful Indians. November 8, 1519. The Collision of Worlds. Moctezuma meets Cortez on the causeway. You stand in the guard, catching the sour reek of unwashed European bodies. They are welcomed into the city, housed in the palace of the emperor's father. They immediately begin melting golden artworks into crude ingots and hammering a cross onto your altar. The unthinkable happens. The guests take the host hostage. Moctezuma is chained in his own home. The empire is decapitated without a single shot fired. The Spaniards ban sacrifice but permit the festival of Tlaxcatl. You dance unarmed, draped in feathers and gold. It's a trap. A signal is given. The Spaniards bar the gates and begin butchering the unarmed nobility. The Great Temple Massacre. Blood slicks the floor. The city erupts. You drive the Spaniards back into the palace. They are no longer guests. They are rats in a snare. You sever the canals and burn the bridges. Your weapon is the sling. A stone flies with the velocity of a bullet. The hail of rocks is so dense the Spaniards can't peek out without a helmet. Clink. The Spaniards drag Moctezuma onto the roof to pacify the mob. But you no longer believe him. Coward. Traitor. A stone is thrown. Moctezuma falls dead. The new emperor, Cuitlahuac, has no time for diplomacy. His order is absolute. Kill the whites, sacrifice the rest. June 30th, 1520, La Noche Triste, the Night of Sorrows. The Spaniards attempt a silent escape, muffling their horses' hooves with rags. But a woman at the well spots them. Alarm! Mexicans, to the boats! You swarm them on the narrow causeway. Squeezed between the water, the massacre begins. Greed is their undoing. The Spaniards stuff their pockets and boots with gold. When they fall, the weight drags them to the bottom like anchors. Splash! The bridges are gone, so the Spaniards cross the gaps over a bridge of corpses, men and horses piled so high you can walk across them. Pedro de Alvarado, the Red Devil, is cornered. He jams his spear into the lake bed, or a pile of bodies, and vaults over the canal like an Olympian. Morning comes. The survivors huddle under a tree. Cortez weeps. He has lost his army, his gold, and his pride. You have won. The victory feast. You drag Spanish captives up the pyramid, rip out their hearts, and hurl their bodies down the steps. The gods are satisfied. The gods from across the sea are mortal after all. You claim a Spanish sword. It's heavy and awkward, but sharp. Now, you have steel. You win their severed beards around your spear as trophies. But the Spaniards left a parting gift. One of their slaves was sick. Pomegranate-like scabs on the skin. Smallpox. An invisible demon begins its harvest. The plague spreads like a brush fire. You have no immunity. The priests pray. The doctors apply mud. Nothing works. Hucahuatl, the great leprosy. You are encrusted in sores from head to foot. Your skin is on fire. You can't even roll over on your mat without screaming. You rot alive. People die not from the rash, but from thirst. There is no one left to carry water. You hear your children crying for a drink, but you cannot stand. Smallpox is no respecter of kings. Cuitlahuac, the hero of the victory, dies after 80 days. He beat the Spaniards, but lost to a germ. The final emperor rises, Cuauhtémoc, the falling eagle. He is only 25, inheriting a city of ghosts. He knows the end is coming, but he prepares the defense. Cortez returns, and he isn't alone. He has brought ships, brigantines, hauled over the mountains in pieces. A navy in the clouds. Madness. The siege of Tenochtitlan, 90 days of hell. They sever the aqueduct. No water. No food. You eat tree bark, lizards, and bricks made of mud. Naval warfare. Your canoes against their brigantines. It's like bicycles against tanks. The Spanish ships simply ram your boats, the hulls grinding bone. Crunch. Their cannons fire grapeshot, bags of nails, and lead. A single blast turns 10 canoes into blood-soaked splinters. The lake turns red. The aqueduct is gone. You drink from the lake, but the water of Texcoco is salty. It drives you mad and kills you faster. People swell with hunger and delirium. There is nothing left. You scrape plaster from the walls to eat. You chew the leather from your shields. You swallow clay to stop the cramping. Your stomach is a pit of stones. The city is a ruin. You fight for every house. You leap across rooftops, raining stones on Spanish heads. This is street fighting with no rules. A minor victory. Horses can't climb the steep steps of the pyramids. You lure them up and shove them off. They plummet. You capture 15 Spaniards and sacrifice them in full view of Cortez's camp. Their screams echo all night, denying the enemy sleep. Psychological warfare. Tenochtitlan falls. Only the Tlatelolco market remains. The survivors huddle there in a mass. Women fight side by side with the men. The end is here. August 13th, 1521. As the city falls, a torrential rain begins. It is as if the gods Tlaloc and Huitzilopochtli are weeping for their nation. Cuauhtémoc tries to escape by canoe to keep the war alive, but he is intercepted. Don't shoot. I am the emperor. The eagle has fallen. Suddenly, the cannons go silent. The screaming stops. A silence descends so heavy it rings in your ears. After 90 days of thunder, Silence feels like death. The city is a graveyard. The stench is so foul even the Spaniards cannot stay. Cortés orders a retreat to the shore until the air clears. The Spaniards hunt for gold. They slice open the bellies of the dead and ransack every home, but the gold is gone. You drown it in the lake. Gringos. Cortés tortures Cuauhtémoc. They coat his feet in oil and roast them over a slow fire, demanding the gold. The emperor watches them calmly. Am I in a bathhouse? The survivors are enslaved. A red-hot iron sears your cheek with the letter G. Guerra. War. You are no longer a man. You are property. You are forced to dismantle your own temples. The stones of the pyramids become the foundation of a Catholic cathedral. Your gods are buried beneath theirs. There are few Spaniards and no Spanish women. They take your wives. Mestizos are born, a new race. Your grandchildren will speak Spanish and forget your name. Your mother goddess Tenochtitlan is gone. In her place stands the Virgin of Guadalupe. Same mountain, same devotion, different name. A shell game of faith. The encomienda system. You now belong to a Spanish don. You toil in his fields for free, for the salvation of your soul. Slavery by a prettier name. Your finale. You were too strong for your own good. You rotted in a silver mine for 20 long years. But the dust won in the end. The Jaguar Warrior became a blind mole and died in a burrow. Game summary. Level, Jaguar Warrior. Status, slave. Cause of death, silicosis of the lungs in a Spanish mine. You built an empire and ended up as imperial rubble. Your score, enemies killed, 0. Killing was forbidden. Captured, 12. An elite result. You fed the gods premium fuel. Sacrifice. During your life in Tenochtitlan, roughly 20,000 hearts were ripped out. Piled together, they'd form a mountain as high as a house. Weapons. You broke 45 macuahodls. Obsidian is just glass. You went through clubs faster than modern soldiers go through magazines. Diet. You consumed 5 tons of corn and 200 kilograms of insects. Grasshoppers, larvae, and eggs. Pure protein. No steaks, just bugs. Bank account. Gold was trash. Your wealth was measured in quetzal feathers. A single green tail feather was worth more than a gold ingot. You bathed 15,000 times, every single day. A Spanish conquistador bathed twice, at birth and before death. You were a clean freak. They were a biological weapon. Who killed the Aztecs? Not the steel, but the microbes. Population, 25 million in 1519. 1 million in 1600. Apocalypse. Myth. The Aztecs carved perfect crystal skulls. Reality. They're 19th century European fakes. You lack the tools for that kind of polishing. Myth. An astronaut at a control panel is carved in Palenque. Reality. That's King Pacal descending into the underworld beneath the world tree. Why no wheels? You knew of the wheel. You made wheeled toys, but you had no horses or oxen. Who was going to pull the cart? You. Your language, Nahuatl, lives on. Tomato, chocolate, avocado, coyote. The world speaks your words every day. The ball game, ulama. You bounced a 3 kilograms rubber ball off your hip. The results? Broken ribs, massive hematomas, and sometimes the execution of the losing captain. The movie Apocalypto. Mel Gibson portrayed you as jungle savages. A lie. You lived in a metropolis with sewers, courts, and poetry. Year 2012. The world expected the end because of your calendar. Fools. Your cycle simply ended, like December 31st. You just needed a new calendar. Zolos. You ate them, but you loved them too. A dog was supposed to guide your soul across the river of death. If you ate them too often, no one was waiting for you on the other side. You were the most sober nation on earth. Drunkenness meant death. Today, tequila and mezcal define Mexico. Talk about irony. Aztec slavery was soft. A slave could have a family, property, and even their own slaves. Spanish slavery was a death camp. There is no comparison. Mexico City is built on the bones of Tenochtitlan. The cathedral sits directly atop the Great Pyramid. The old gods are sleeping in Jesus' basement. Look at the Mexican flag, an eagle on a cactus, devouring a snake. That's the sign your ancestors searched for. The Aztecs died, but their symbol flies over the nation. The color of kings. Aztecs made the world's finest red dye from insects, cochineal. Europe went mad for it. The British redcoats were dyed with your bugs. The gods had their revenge. The Spaniards drained Lake Texcoco to build their city. The result? The city is sinking 30 centimeters every year. The water is reclaiming its own. Dia de los Muertos. This isn't Halloween. It's your ancient skull ritual surviving under a Catholic mask. You still feast on the graves of your ancestors. You invented chewing gum, chicle, tree resin. Aztec women chewed it to clean their teeth, though chewing in public was considered improper. Popcorn. You didn't eat it at the movies. You made necklaces for the gods. Momocli, the cornflower that explodes. Sacred food. Turkey, Mexico's only domestic bird. Benjamin Franklin wanted it to be the symbol of the U.S. instead of the eagle. An Aztec chicken almost became the emblem of America. Neurosurgery. You drilled holes in skulls with obsidian to release evil spirits. Surprisingly, 70% of your patients survived, a better track record than Europe's. Moctezuma had a zoo. It held jaguars, eagles, and people, dwarfs, hunchbacks, and albinos. A collection of monsters for the emperor's amusement. You wrapped food in maize leaves, tamales. 100% biodegradable packaging. Today, we use plastic that lasts 500 years. Who's the savage? The Xochimilco canals, the last fragment of Tenochtitlan. Once, they fed an empire. Now, tourists drink beer on neon-colored boats. That's degradation. The great fear. If we don't offer blood, the sun will stop. The sacrifices ended 500 years ago. The sun is still shining. Thousands died for nothing. Oops. Obsidian has returned. Modern surgeons use obsidian scalpels for eye surgery. Your stone still cuts better than their steel. Your zacatl was bitter, spicy, and cold, the drink of warriors. We added milk and sugar and turned it into a kid's dessert. You would have spat in our faces. Aztec tattoos, trendy now, but rare back then. You painted your bodies with stamps. That sleeve is just a tattoo artist's fantasy. We see you as victims, but many went to the altar willingly. To be consumed by the gods was the ultimate honor, a VIP pass to paradise. Pozole, Mexico's favorite soup. It used to be made with the flesh of captives. Now it's pork. The recipe remains the same. Bien provcho, eagles and jaguars. They were your special forces. Eagles attacked by day, the Air Force. Jaguars moved by night, the Spec Ops. An eternal rivalry, the pilot versus the scout. You didn't go extinct. 80% of Mexicans carry your genes. The Aztecs didn't disappear, they dissolved. You are looking at the world through the eyes of millions of descendants. To you, time was a circle. The world was born and died 5 times. You expected the 5th sun to end in an earthquake. Considering Mexico's geology, you weren't wrong. You are the Spartans of the New World. The same discipline, the same cruelty. Only instead of Leonidas, you had Cuauhtémoc. Flesh of the gods, hallucinogenic mushrooms, and cacti. You didn't use them for a high, but to speak with the divine. It was a terrifying, blood-soaked trip, not a party. The axolotl, the cute pink lizard, that's the god Xolotl, who refused to die and hid in the water. You ate them as a delicacy. Sorry, God. You were the first nation with compulsory education. Everyone went to school, boys, girls, even slaves. While Europe was illiterate, you were studying astronomy. Delivery service. The emperor ate fresh ocean fish every day. Paymani runners moved the cargo in a relay, 300 kilometers in 24 hours. Faster than DHL. The warriors smile. You cleaned your teeth with salt and charcoal. While Spanish teeth rotted from sugar, yours were white and strong. You didn't need dentists. The obsidian mirror, Tezcatlipoca, god of the night, peered through it into the souls of men. Black glass that revealed the future, and the future was usually grim. You knew the stars better than the earth beneath you. Pyramids were built to capture the sun's rays on the equinox. You lived by the clock of the universe. History is written in blood. The sun of the 5th era is still shining.